beautiful people. Welcome back to Kweshunga. My name is Penelope Sanyu, and as usual, I am your host for this beautiful show. I am excited again to be hosting you for this particular episode. As you can see, we are chilling, we are home, we are just loving on one another. And today on the Saucepans Are Leaking, we are going to delve into the generational gap in relationships between mothers and daughters and how that affects how we live, how we breathe, how we play, how we do the things that we do. And on set today, I have two wonderful humans, one that I have known for too long, and one who is a mother to me in one way or another. And I will allow them to introduce themselves as we delve into this conversation. I'll start here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi. My name is Olivia Yemera. Originally Nagai, imagine. I know, right?
I
so
have
funny.
known you these many years and I didn't
right?
even know you were Nagai.
You're a terrible friend. I needed to say it because I'm seated on a mat. It's so dope. But I'm a mother of two, a boy and a girl.
Yes. Also today, I need to warn you that we're going to switch up the language a bit because, I am not going to be making my mother speak English in this age. So, but then sabotwe anjulide, otulide wajova ne abana bameka boina.
Manya gange nzaafwa Nambiru, nga nzaalibwa Kawempe, nina abaana babiri. Be nazaala ne nkoma.
Ewakoma wamala ddolo tosobola kwongera togenda zaalayo ow'ekikadde.
Kati awo nazaala ne mmala nkola byange kati.
Biki by'okola?
Sikasumbuusa, ntunda ne caayi.
Kawempe.
Awo mu Kaleebe, mu katale.
Tusanyuse nnyo okubeera naawe ku Kweshunga. Mbadde njagala ntandike naawe okubuuza oba osobola okutunyumizaako ko nga bwe baakukuza. Mama wo wamusanga otya mwalina enkolagana nga mwogera oba nga temwogera, ebyo byonna byagendanga bitya ku mirembe gyammwe?
Kaakati nze okusinga nakula na taata wange. Naye nga taata wange kati ewaffe tuli Bambejja. Naye nga ku lujjuliro mutuulako nga mufukamidde. Teri kusimba lukono, ng'olusimba olukono ng'omanya ajja ddukuba alumenye. Naye nga ffenna tutuula ku lujjuliro, oba muwala oba mulenzi, mwenna babakuliza mu ki? Mu mpisa emu. Oba omulenzi ofukamidde tewaliwo kugamba nti nze ntudde bwe nti. Bataata bwe baatuulanga mu ntebe, ffe twatuulanga wansi. Nga bwetyo batukuza. Kati nze nange abaana abange mwe mbatwalidde.
Nga bwe bakkuza.
Sibasosola nti gwe oli muwala kuba nazaala muwala na mulenzi. Bonna mubatwalira mu kintu kimu. Omulenzi naawe olina okufumba nga ffe twafumba. Bwe mba siriiwo. Okwoza engoye obyenyigiramu, okwoza bintu. Ate onoolinda nze enjala ebeera awo ekulume nga siriiwo. N'oba olina okukola bikola. Era nange ndaganga bwe bankuza omwana omuwala bwe mutwala. Teri kusitama ku bantu. Tulina ffenna okutuula wamu lwakuba kati eb'ennaku zino byakyukamu, tewakyaliwo lwaliiro nti lwe tuteekawo mmere tugibegera ku masowaani. N'ate wali eri tekyalingawo bwe baatukulizanga. Tuteekawo endagala emmere ne bagiteekamu, buli omu n'akwata akawuuwo n'abegaabega mu maaso ge. Enva ze zibeera ku sowaani.
Buli omu yeebegera n'akawuuwo.
Bwe kyalinga.
So I'm laughing because there's no way in this 2024 we are going to put food down on the floor and everybody is dividing it the way they are. Husky, how was it for you growing up?
For starters, I can relate with what she's saying because some holidays would go to grandma's house. Kati ewa jjajja. No drama, you sit the way she has said it. By herself. Yes, that one I can relate with because at grandma's house that setting was there. Because now it was the time we get to know about culture. You dig, you sit. But growing up in my father's house, that were in a dining table. So we would sit at the dining table.
Planned kids.
Yeah, it's okay. We'd sit at yeah, actually, in that day and age, we were one of the rich kids.
You are the planned kids of that
I'm
generation.
telling you. But the thing was, food had to be served and everybody had to sit at the table. There was that oneness that you serve food, everybody gets to the table, and we were 9 kids. So that's like what, 11 people on the table? Yes. We all sit and serve. The order was Papa serves first, then Mommy, then like that up until the last born. Or you could go, no, my dear, elders first. Well, how much are you going to eat? No. It was a respect thing. I think it was their way of teaching us how to respect our elders, because imagine if we served first and finished the food. So it would be that he serves, or maybe Mommy would have his meal separately with his sauce and whatnot. Yes, that's how we were raised, that everybody has to be at the table, which sort of I could relate with, because even for her, it was everybody. The only difference is for us would sit at the dining table. Yes, and then we would.
One of the conversations that we've been having on the saucepans are leaking, the relationships that begin to become leaky, so to say, or a bit shaky, because in a setting like that, you begin to feel that they prefer some kids to others.
Yeah.
Or they love some more than others, and therefore it begins to bring tensions between you and your mom. Did you ever feel like that? Do you feel like that even today? Yeah.
Then I did. So we're 9, but then of course there's those ones you go with more. Yeah. So the one I follow, we were always together. Yeah. I know I was naughty, but at some point I felt like we used to call him Darling Kao Bihogo, because everything was about him. Elijah this, Elijah that. If he watches this, is going to kill me. But like, it's a thing of this, that he was the good child. Yeah. Me, on the other hand, I know that she would beat me if she had these stories. I was climbing trees. I don't know, moving with the guys without a shirt. I was, I would blend in, right? At some point, even my mom said it, Bananga, I wish you were a boy. Because I was a package, right? But then I started to feel like I had now to match up to my brother, because everything was, he's calm, he's quiet, if something went wrong, trust me, he would not be the suspect. I would be the first in line before the actual person says what they did. So to be a thing of Olivia, I'm like, so I was not here when the events were happening. I remember one time my mom had, what do they call those things that have mercury inside that you flip and then the boosters keep moving? I really don't know what it's called. But Shada, madam, we're age mates. I can't believe you right now.
I can't be your age. I'm sorry, what? I'm just 18, but
she loves roses, and there was a rose flower in there, a white one, very beautiful. So my brother and his friend broke it. I was not there. I actually don't know where I was. Then I came back and they told me the story. Like, you know what happened? We broke this thing there. When my mom came home, Olivia, I'm like, So I know the story, and I cannot tell her that I know the story, because then it's going to seem like I made it up so that they cover for me. But even then, I was the one going to be beaten. My brother said like 6 times, Mommy, I broke.
I'm the one who broke that.
She said, it's not possible. You're covering up for her. I know this child. So it made me feel like I had to match up all the time. Like growing up, it was a thing of I had to play catch up. And yet I also wanted to play because they're kids who are willing to play with me. And then we had no gate. We were in a fenced home, but there was no gate. So we were just like free entry and exit. So every time my mom would come back, be sure I would not be home. So my brother had to cover for me. No, he had to cover for me. Like, I've been with her, what? But I'm like somewhere up on a tree and I see her coming down and I'm thinking, everybody act natural. So everybody has to pretend, because who is up in the tree? Yours truly. So I'd have to be there. And then I'm like, Wanange, what is so bad about climbing a tree? Can't I just have a fruit? And I'd be beaten every time. Like, I can count the times my brother was beaten. But me, at some point I told her, Mommy, why didn't you just take me back where you picked me from? Because this violence. And even that got me beaten. So for me, it was a thing of play catch up, play catch up, play catch up. And my sisters, I hardly stayed with my sisters. It was much later in life when they came through. And when they did, they were in Nairobi. So you can imagine culture really. They also had a bit of Swahili going for them. So we had to learn. That's when we went to Grandma's house to pick up a bit of digging, cleaning, sitting like this. Meanwhile, you guys, I'm so proud of myself. Sitting like this, like all those things had to happen at Grandma's house. But my mother, there were rules that were not really rules. I don't know if that makes sense. Like there are rules in the house.
There are so many unspoken
as long
rules
as
in African homes.
as long as you belong in that home, you knew what to do. It was not that she's going to sit us down and say, don't do this, don't do this. No, you knew that in your head, coming home at 6 makes sense. So why are you here at 7? In your head, you know that we eat together. So why are you, like, it was just there. We knew what to do, when to do it. So things like don't talk when you're eating, don't do what, all those things were there, but she never ever really came out to tell us. We just knew what to do. Like the thing we have in common with them was the look. My mom had the look. So it was a thing of, then you know, get in line quickly. You know what to do immediately. Yeah, so for me that was growing up. I was the naughty child. I had a bit of tomboy going. So
clashed a lot with mom because of the naughtiness.
It's actually now that we're best friends. Like if she was here, she'd be like, do not tell me about the child called Olivia.
Wagambye mbuno tewakula na mama wakula na tata okusinga mama. Kyemanyi nti mu budde bwammwe buli omu yakuzanga omwana. Ekyalo kyonna kyakuzanga omwana. Ng'obuvunaanyizibwa bw'okuza omwana tebuba ku muntu omu eyamuzaala. Kyemanyi walinayo okuba maama abalala.
Anti kati saakula nti nakula ne maama azaalira ddala. Ati kati taata alinawo ng'omukyala. Oyo gwe nakula naye. Naye nga twakula naye nga mukyala mukambwe.
Ng'abayisa atya?
Teyatuyisa bubi kubanga kwegamba yali atutendeka. Nze saakitwalanga bubi nti oba tukuziza bubi. Naye ye era yali ayagala abaana. Kubanga ffenna yatutwalyanga wamu naye bali ababe baazadde. Nga mwenna mugenda ekintu ekyo kimu mu baana kuganga alinganga enda nti yenna yeki yemu nga tutwala ekintu kimu.
Mwayinangayo koko obutakkaanya nga waliwo ebintu byagezako bayigiriza naye ng'ate gwe obitwalanga kino sijja kikkiriza oba kino sikikiririzaamu nze njaga kukola byange.
Ekikulu kati nga taata waffe, taata ye yali atwagala nnyo. Atakkiriza nnyo kale mukazi kutuntuza. Oba omukazi ayinza okugamba n'akujja ku kino n'agamba sooka ogenda onkimira amazzi. Oba osooka olya emmere yalinga ye tabikkiririzaamu. Ng'ayinza okukubuuza walidde ku mmere wakoze otya? N'ebyo kati omukyala yalinga akola ki? Abimulemesa n'abiggyawo. Namwenna n'akola ki?
Naye ng'okwagala taataamu okubayisa bw'ati kubanga amaka agamu genze ndaba kati. Omusajja bw'aba yeeyisa bw'atyo ate maama obukambwe buyitirira kubanga agamba bw'anaaba taliiwo enkyanja bbalaga ekyokkola. Okitegeera? Kuba bagamba kati ono omusajja alowooza abaana be saabawadde emmere oba abaana be saabanaaziza oba abaana be saabalabiridde ng'ateekawo naye embeera ebalemesa.
Ayo kati yoyo omukyala ye ogwo omutima
teyagwina. Twebaza Mukama olw'ekyo.
Teyagwina kubanga era senga yali agwina nandibadde nze sibeerawo. Naye teyagwina. Nandigenze nga nenyonya maama wange gy'abeera obwebukojja.
Maama wo gy'ali ku bukojja mwalina engeri gy'ajja n'abalabako oba mwali temulina relationship yonna?
Yajjanga n'atulaba. Yatugamba yafumbirwa akyali muwala muto abasiraamu obamanyi. Yafumbirwa alina emyaka 15. N'atuzaalazaala mangu yatuzaala abaana nga 8 omulenzi omu. Abawala nga ffe tusingako. Kati ye n'agenda n'afumbirwa awalala kuba ye yali akyali. Ate nga taata waffe yali musajja mukulu ng'abasiraamu b'obamanyi. N'atulekawo.
Kati mwenna 8 maama oli omulala ye yabakuza?
Abawala ffe twakulira kuba yatuzaalamu omulenzi teyakulirawo.
Era mwenna 8 kubanga omulenzi omu abawala mwali bangi. Eyo yali girls single school.
Abawala ffe twakulirawo.
Husky, what things have you struggled with in your relationship with your mom? Of course, I know that as a naughty child you clashed. You've done so much fighting than communicating together. But there are those things you look back now and say, but what was possessing me, honestly? Or what was possessing her that we were clashing all the time? Yeah.
So when you grow up and you eventually have your own children, it clicks. It clicks. So I think in her mind, she was like, since this is a girl child, she's going to have kids. and she will understand why I do the things I do. Because right now I look at my children, I'm going to beat my child. I'm like, violence. Yeah, because my daughter, Bambi, bless her heart, she is so like me. Only that I look at her and I'm like, you're doing things in an amateur way, man. I did these things and I was sharp. But with my mother, I realized that our relationship happened. Growing up, it was just mother, daughter. That's it.
The boundary was, the line was drawn.
In fact, our relationship was the stick. That was the only contact we had. When she's going to beat me, that was our relationship. Even if you sat with her now, she doesn't have a good story about me growing up. I broke stuff. I don't know. I was just alone. Meanwhile, I was the only, I don't know about my siblings, maybe, but I was something else. Come to, I think, campus. Now life begins. And I had to talk to somebody. I talked to my sister, yes, but I realized that there's certain conversations that if mommy gave you a story, it's a whole different dimension that you have of it. When I was this old, when I was your age, this is what I experienced. That's when now we started having a relationship. But we really got close after I had kids. After I got married, had children, now she thought that it was time for me to know certain truths about our family. I was like, this woman.
Like all of a sudden we are besties.
So you mean, and then, you know, like imagine if your mother woke up today and told you that your father is not your father. She's like, I lived a lie. Like all, you know, you know how kids these days are so dramatic. My whole life was a lie. Dramatic. I'm telling you. Have been raised that way. You know why I'm saying it's drama? Because then what would she do differently? You understand? She did what she could then. Now I can say that. When I was younger, I'm not so sure I would say she did. Yeah, but I feel like she did what she could have done then. I don't know if I would have done any better anyway. So now she's telling you the truth about the gaps. She's filling in the gaps and you're like, you mean?
That was how it happened.
So you have things like, oh, so if so-and-so grew up with us, that's not even our brother or sister. Are you serious? Like all those things are clicking. But then she's telling you because she wants you to learn how to treat people. Not that she wants you to now resent the person. It's no. Let me try and fill the gaps now that you're older and you can process better. So then we started being friends. Actually, if you hear me talking to my mom on phone, you can think I'm talking to some friend of mine who are big sis. But then you're like, bye, mommy. Then you're like, oh, you're talking to your mom. Even her name in my phone, it's a very interesting story. I call my mother Jackie Chan in my phone. That is a very interesting story. It involves jumping off bikes and whatever. Not me, by the way, her, not me. So I was like, mommy, I think you need to stop watching action movies. Kubanga, if you're starting to jump off bikes, this is not a good thing. So that's how I call her Jackie Chan. But right now, I appreciate her relationship more than then.
You did
then I was just annoyed. I'm like, this violent woman, every time you want to beat me, what's the plan? So for me, actually taking me to boarding school was relief. I'm like, at least no one is beating me.
There are so many differences between how we've been raised and how our parents were raised and how we are raising our own children today and how they will raise their kids. I mean, different generations have different rules, different things, but the way we were raised was kind of out of fear. The boundaries you talked about, it was either by the stick or by the stick and nothing else. There's no communication. There was no sitting down and having the conversation we are having here today with our parents. As you parent your child, your daughter, I'm sorry, Harvey, I'm really sorry. Today is for Haley. As you parent your daughter, what challenges are you healing from or dealing with? What things traumatized you as a child that you don't want to re-traumatize your child with? And as you do that, then maybe you will loop in Mama here to tell us a bit about her own version as well.
So I'm going to touch a very sensitive part. As a child, growing up, you would be abused and you would not know it's abuse.
Of course, because no one talked about sexual, physical, emotional, any abuse.
Exactly. So much later when I grew up, I put a name to it. I'm like, oh,
that was what
that was. The problem with that is now I'm very traumatized when it comes to my daughter. Every time, they don't even visit. No sleepovers, nothing. Because I know that if it happened to her, I can't reverse it. I can't take it back. So for me, the only difference between today's child, I do not do sleepovers. I do not do mania uncle who auntie who. We don't say, there's no auntie and uncle. You're miss or Mr. or Yet us growing up, everyone was uncle, everyone was
aunt.
Hey, but for me, I'm like, lest we misinterpret situations, or my baby builds trust, and suddenly she's abused. So for me, that's the fear because of, and I would never have a conversation with my mom about these things. So you'd not classify which one is lugambo, which one is I need help. So you just keep quiet completely. Now for my children, I just let them say every majani. The problem with that is now I'm teaching them to also filter because they may just find, so we're learning how to, it's a different generation. They have too much information, they have too much liberty and so entitled. So I have to work between the two worlds and yet protect her from whatever didn't happen for me and get her into a place, like she needs to be in the middle. I talk to her, she talks to me. But then also there's a line, I'm your mother, do not disrespect me. Yes. Mpozi nga nchizizaye wa mchala na moberuwe. Kati olaba nganze bwenkuŋŋambye nti bwenkuza abange. Oluusi nja bakuba, oluusi tujja kwogera. Naye ate nga sijja engeri gye bankuza. Naye kati gwe abaabo obakuzizza ngeri ki ekwatagana oba ekontana ku ngeri gye bakuza.
Era omwana yenna omugunjulamuko n'omuterezaamuko aba akunyiizizza. Naye nga si kwe kugamba nti buli kimu omukube. Kuba ate buli kimu bw'oba omukuba ate era tayiga.
Okuba ababo.
Mbakuba ng'era annyiizizza. Kubanga era oyinza okulaba nga mulimu kyatakoze kati nga ekisinga obukulu kyensinga obbagaana kuzannya n'abaana kuba abaana ennaku zino abamu obalaba nga ebikulwa birala nnyo. Nze kyovula abange sibaleka waka mbeera nabo wenkolera otayigamize mirala okuggyako ng'agenza okusoma. Naye kati nga bwe baba bawummudde mbeera nabo ku mulimu kuba lwa nsonga abaana abamu balina emize emirala. Oyinza okulya oli ng'afuutuse ekigambo kyotategeerekeka ate nga n'oli ajja kiyiga
era kikwatirawo.
Naye nze kati abange mbeera nabo kulaba nga neewala ebyo bingi ebyo. Sooka kumuyigiriza na mpisa. Ozuukuse buuza ku bantu. Tatambula nga tabuuzizza abantu oba abasanze wabweru fukamira omubuuze. Tweyongereyo. Tutambula ne tweyongerayo.
Engeri omulembe gwaffe gye gukuzaamu abaana kiriwo ekikutabulamu.
Kati ekisinga okunnyiiza n'okunneewuunyisa n'amuzadde yennyini nga yazaala oyo omwana. Ayinza okuba olusitamuwa kintu kyakulya kukkuta. Kati omwana asoberera n'akola ki? N'atuulako n'alya. N'amwokya engalo. Ate nga we yamuzaala oyinza okugamba nti basiibwe yamuzaala. Ekyo kyasinga nnyo kyanneewuunyisa nnyo. Okulaba nga mwana we yamuzaala ate n'amwokya engalo kubanga atudde ki? So ekifo kya nnyama. N'akirya. Kiva mwana kumuwa nga takkuse n'atamatira bulungi. Nze kye sisobola. Wakati nze neerekereza n'empa owange n'alya n'akkuta. Butagenda ku mizigo kwegombagomba kulya.
Kati lwaki ababo tobaleka waka nga bakulu?
Sisobola kuleka mwana waka.
Lwaki?
Ate naddala omuwala mbeera naye. Kuba nange embeera gye nakuliramu bino omuleka waka toyinza okuwulirayo misango mirala.
Taata mmwe yatambula mwenna munaana.
Twabeeranga teyatambulanga naffe naye ffe baatukuuma nnyo ekikulu. Kati ate essaawa zino gwe tosobola kukuuma mwana. Era bw'omuleka waka era ojja kusanga agenze ng'akoze ebirala. Naye nze ate abange mba ntambudde nabo kimpa emirembe.
Waliyo ekintu kyonna kyoyagala okugamba muwala wo oba ne bawala bo abalala kuba nkimanyi nti okuza mu muntu omu yekka.
Nina n'abazzukulu.
Olinayo akagambo koyagala obasibirira oba okubalekera mu ngeri gye beeyisaamu ng'abaana oba gye bandikuyisizzaamu nga maama gy'oyagala bakyuseemu balongooseemu oba beeyongere okukola?
Nange njagala bantu bampa ekitiibwa nga nze bwe naabo bazadde bange ekitiibwa nga tebabeera tebampisaamu maaso kuba nange siyisaamu maaso ate n'abaana bange sibayisaamu maaso era mbatwala nga abaana.
Respect. Haxi, your mother is going to watch this YouTube thing and is going to wonder many things. Mommy, we are sorry. It's not me, it's her.
Wow.
But is there anything you want Mommy to know that you have held here, that you as best friends have not yet talked about, that you want her to change as a mother? Or for you as a daughter that you think you can do better at being a better daughter to her? Yeah.
If this had happened maybe 8 years ago, I would have that thing. But we had that heart-to-heart talk, and I told her everything. So what I would say to Mommy right now is, we are sorry for judging you on how you raised us. Like, you did very well. You did your very best. And now that we are parents, we know. And we appreciate how you raised us, because we are what we are because of what you instilled. Like, whether we like it or not, the foundation was yours. And so, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Twayanza nnyo okutuwa obudde bwo n'okutunyumiza emboozi gy'otunyumiriza n'okukuyigirako bingi by'otuyigiriza leero. Husky, thank you so much for giving us your time. I know you're out there and you're thinking, oh my goodness, maybe this is me. I need to call my mom and say, I'm sorry for judging you, and I am sorry for misunderstanding you, or I'm sorry for not hearing you and not seeing the things that you are carrying. So it's a call for you to call your mom or go see her, or just figure out something to do to say sorry for judging you. And if you're judging yourself as a mother for how you're raising your child, it's also time for you to let that go and release it and allow yourself to build a good and workable relationship with your daughter so that the saucepans can stop leaking. See you next time. Bye-bye.